Thank you for joining me once again on our weekly Wednesday Facebook Live tutorial. So for my Instagram followers, just know that today we have a guest coach who is also a tax attorney. We're going to do some legal and tax talk, and there will be a presentation. So if you want to watch the presentation, make sure that you join my Facebook group, so which is the link in my bio. Click the link in my bio to join my Facebook group so that you can see the presentation. Otherwise, you'll just listen to me, and I have my volume up so you can listen to what our tax attorney has to say. So for my Facebook members, thank you for joining me once again. For those of you who are joining me the first time, my name is Mayo Silvers. I am the owner of M2 Hospitality and Event Planning Company, and I'm also the founder, mentor, and coach for events for anyone, where we provide a mentorship program called the Unstoppable Eventrepreneurs to event planners to help them start and grow their event planning company into a six-figure profit business. So if you are joining me on Instagram or you're joining me on Facebook, just say hi so that I can acknowledge you. So I have Sharon from Malbishik joining me. I have Carla from Naples Party Planner joining me, and I have T2377. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. Once again, today we have a slide presentation. So if you want to be able to see the slide, you got to join my Facebook group, and click the link below in my bio. All right. So let's see who's with me on Facebook. So we have Stephanie. Thank you for joining me, Stephanie. I know you're working right now. And we have Sean. We have Sandy. Hi, Yolanda. Okay, I have a Facebook user says happy Wednesday. I can't see your name, so make sure you click the link for StreamYard to be able to publish your name. Okay, so Stephanie, if you will be so kind, or Christine, you'll be so kind, just make sure you drop that link so that our Facebook members can click on that link and StreamYard can publish their name. And if you have any questions, and who do we have here? Elegantly Done Events, join. So make sure that Instagram followers, if you have questions, just drop on your comments and I'll be able to read the questions to our tax attorney as well. So we have a few. Oh, yes, thank you. So this is our another new merchandise. So this one just got in last week. I like it, but I think I want to put the words up a little bit. So this is my sample so people can see better. So it's not right across here. So up a little bit, right? It's not such a sensitive spot. So up here. So this is the cap sleeve version or the sleeveless version. So they come in black and they also come in white. So as you can see, I highlight the word event so people don't see unstoppable entrepreneur. It's unstoppable eventrepreneur. All right, so we have Jackie. Hi, thank you, Jackie, for joining me. Okay, a few Facebook users can't see your name. So hi, Antoinette. Hi, Lynette. Okay, let's see who else is here. All right, so I don't want to take up too much time today, so I'm going to dive right in. So today, I have the pleasure of inviting a very cool tax attorney to come on to talk about anything about legal and tax. So as event planners, right, we are creatives. We love to do events. We love to be creative. And so when it comes to the business side of things that are with the law, the legal, the paperwork, the numbers, is not something that we love to do. But if you want to become an unstoppable eventrepreneur, right, you are a business person. You're no longer just an event planner. So if you want to be a very successful event planner who owns a very successful event planning company, you got to know your legal shite, okay? So I try not to curse. So you got to know your legal poo-poo, right? So you got to know your legal talk. You need to protect yourself. And that's why today I want to invite someone who is a tax attorney, Braden, and I'll let him introduce himself. But he is not your typical tax attorney, all right? He's not tight-lipped, you know, he's not uptight. He's very, very cool. So you would never have guessed that he's a tax attorney. You'll see it when he comes on. That poor thing just has his COVID shot today, the second shot, so he's feeling the blues. So let's give him, you know, a silent round of applause for coming on today. So I'm just going to invite him right now so you can see how cool this dude is.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for giving us your time, especially, and I know that you just moved today. You had your COVID shot, so you're not feeling top of the world, but you still look great. Very
Oh,
handsome.
thank you. I didn't tell you, but we actually have a third presenter today. She wanted to come on camera.
Let me see your little puppy. Another one. Oh, look at that. Oh, look like Chewbacca.
Yeah, she's a 4-pound little Chewbacca dog.
Oh, looks like a Chewbacca. So cute. All right. So, Braden, so tell us a little bit about who you are, your little bit of your background, and then I'll let you take over the presentation.
Yeah, well, hi everyone. Thanks for having me. As May mentioned, my name is Braden. I am a tax attorney. And what that means is that after I graduated from law school and took the bar exam, passed the bar exam, I went and got a master's degree in tax law. So I used to do a lot of similar work to what you would expect from a CPA, but now I am first and foremost an educator. So I have online programs, primarily courses and a podcast, and I have a book, which you can see back there on the shelves right there. And yeah, so my passion now is really just teaching and educating primarily creatives, but I work with a lot of wedding industry professionals specifically.
Fantastic. So I think we need help from people like you who's able to relate to us because, again, as I was saying, we are creative. We really don't want this boring stuff. Get it out of the way. But we have to know the foundation so we don't get into trouble. So I'm going to put on the slide presentation so you can maneuver at your end, okay?
Okay, perfect. All right, well, welcome everyone. Are we good, May?
Yes.
Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about the layers of protection for each stage of business. So what you need to do, you said no swearing, May. So what you need to do to get your legal stuff legit. You can read the slides if you're here live. What you need to do to really get it together. May talks about becoming an unstoppable eventpreneur, which I love that. I talk a lot about in my presentations on owning the CEO role of your business. And really, it's kind of the same thing, right? If you want to build a 6-figure business, there's certain things that you have to do to get there. So that's what we'll be talking about. So what are the layers of protection? I teach this via analogy. So they're like layers of clothing. So as May mentioned, I got my second COVID vaccine yesterday. I started feeling the side effects of that last night. In the middle of the night, I had like 5 layers of blankets on, which would be wholly unreasonable here in San Diego to most people, but I had like a fever, chills, that whole thing. But that's how many layers of protection I needed to feel comfortable at that moment in time. Now I'm kind of going through a hot flash. You might see me strip this jacket off in a few minutes. But the point is it's variable, not only based on your conditions and where you live, what the temperature is outside, but also you as an individual person. We're all a little bit unique. Some people run cold, which means they need extra layers of protection, right? And that's analogous to me as someone who's very risk averse in business. You don't like the stress that comes with risk. You want more layers of protection. The warmer people, they are a little bit more casual and they don't like really worry or stress that much. They might not feel like they need as many layers, but of course there's still a bare minimum they should be doing as well. We're going to talk about that. So take a quick second here to think about in your head if you know what some of these layers of protection are. So just think about it, maybe doodle them down, and then here in a couple slides, I'm going to show them to you. So the second preliminary concept we want to talk about here is the stages of business. So as our business grows, so do our risks and so do our opportunities to reduce our taxes. So I want to really talk to you about which layers of protection you might need depending on which stage of business you're in. So stage 1, and May, we talked to your members yesterday, and the majority of them, I would say about 75% were in stage 1, right? And about 25% were in stage 2. So I'm guessing the rest of you that are listening are probably the same. A lot of you are probably in stage 1, stage 2. That's why you're here kind of in May's universe, so you can soak up all of her magic and education to climb these stages, so to speak. So stage 1 people usually are in their first year of business. They maybe don't have any prior business experience, because I could consider someone who's run several successful businesses. Like if May wanted to go start, if she wanted to learn photography and go start a wedding photography business, she would be able to build that a lot quicker than a wedding photographer who has no business background, right? So stage 1 is someone who in their first year of business, no business experience, and they're not expecting to gross maybe more than $25,000 this year. Stage 2 are people who've been in business for up to a few years, And they're kind of in this middling revenue. So $25,000 to $75,000, maybe have a contractor or two. And then stage 3, you're looking at like $75,000 and up. And then I have a stage 4, but I cut that out of this presentation. We're going to focus really on the first 2, a little bit on the third. And May and I could probably talk about this all day, but something I'm really passionate about is getting people to 6 figures. And I want to teach people how to do that. And the reason why is because as an entrepreneur, after you pay self-employment taxes and after you pay for all your business expenses, you actually need to be making more than 6 figures in order to earn what's considered an average income in most states in the US. So my goal isn't like, I don't think that everyone needs to have like a private plane and go on vacation all the time. I just want you to be able to do the thing that you love, and for that thing to be able to pay all of your bills and nestle some money away for retirement. So that's kind of like our minimum goal in my mind. Okay, so your next steps. As your business grows, so do your risks and so do our opportunities to reduce our taxes. So what does that entail? Well, for stage 1 people, here's what I often hear from people in stage 1. So let us know in the comments if this resonates with you. So people in stage 1 will say, I don't know what I don't know. I would Google the stuff, Braden, that you're talking about, but I wouldn't even know what to type into Google in the first place, which is not a problem because you're here. I'm going to tell you the things, right? In marketing, we often call this being problem aware. So you don't know how to like, you might start by Googling, how do I get more clients? But if you already knew that maybe like advertising was the best route for you, then you could Google like how to start running Facebook ads. So you're not necessarily problem aware that Facebook might be your solution. So that's what we're talking about here. I often hear people say things like, I'm afraid of my own mailbox. The IRS is terrifying. I don't look at an orange. People get really paranoid about taxes. Understandably so, they're scary, but we don't need to freak out about them that much. No one's going to prison unless you're committing like serious fraud or you're like an international drug lord or something, okay? And then our third bullet point here, I wish I could just focus on what it is that I love to do. I totally get it. Like, you're probably not starting an event planning business so that you can do your taxes. If you were, you would have started a tax business, right? Like, you probably just want to do what you love to do, which is why we need to get you up to speed so that it's not that bad. And then I want you to consider that there's things that we have to do, like legally have to do. There's things that we definitely should do, even if they're not a legal requirement. And then there's all the other stuff, the stuff that our friends tell us, well, that would be a good idea if you do that, okay? What we're going to focus on here is the essentials, which are the things that we legally must do. May, are we doing okay? Because my screen's looking like a little frozen. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, the internet is a little patchy, so it's going you're going a little in and out. Oops. All right. So, yeah, let's hope that he can. Can all of you hear and see me?
Uh-oh.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, you are going a little in and out. Can all of you write in the comments to let me know if you can hear and see me, so that I know the challenge is on Braden's end.
So let me know, May.
Okay. Oops. All done.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's so it's on your end, Braden. So your end it's frozen. Are you able to get on a hotspot or something?
Well.
Okay. So he's coming back. So while we wait for him to come back, okay, again, just to summarize what Braden has said so far, when you're at different stage of your business, there are different layers of protection that you should take into consideration. There are things that you absolutely must do, and then there's things that you should do and it's a good idea to do. Sometimes you don't even know what you need to do, correct? So a lot of times, just like let me share a story. Okay, oh, here you go. Okay, let's put Braden back. Hello?
Okay, so I moved inside closer to our wireless router, so hopefully this will work a little bit better.
Okay, perfect, fantastic. Okay, So now we can hear you. So you might want to backtrack a little bit. How did before? Okay. So how do you do that? All right. So
Okay, perfect. So again, it's focusing on the things that we legally must do, and then the things that we 100% should do. May, I'm gonna go. Oh, we're having all kinds of problems. I'm gonna go get my computer charger because my computer battery is getting kind of low. So I'll be right back.
All right. So as I was, while we wait for him to get his battery, as I was saying, there are different layers. I'm gonna share a story, right? You would think that because I'm a 6-figure profit company, so my company is making the 7 figures in terms of revenue. So profit is 6 figures, and I'm a creative too. So I don't know what I don't know, and you're gonna be so careful when you pick an attorney. Your attorney needs to fully understand the scope of the business, your business, and what you provide and what you do. And I had the misfortune of having a few attorneys who didn't really understood what we were doing. So I ended up paying a penalty of $20,000. So I don't want you to have that kind of situation, okay? All right, Braden.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your patience. My audio is not going to be quite as good because I don't have my microphone anymore. But like May mentioned, I just moved into the new house. So we're trying to get the Wi-Fi sorted out in my detached office. Very fun projects. Okay. So how do we focus on what it is that we must do? Luckily, it's not all that complicated. We got to focus on what I call the essentials. So these are the essentials that every business needs. We need contracts. So contracts lay our ground rules. And you get to create the ground rules so long as they're within the bounds of what your state allows. We also must have insurance. So insurance covers the costs associated to enforce your contract or assist if the contract doesn't cover what you're being sued for, so long as you have the right coverage. So we talked about this yesterday. We talked about a little bit again today. You got to have both general liability insurance and make sure that you have professional liability insurance. So super important. And then the last thing is good tax systems. So no one wants to get audited. You must save your taxes. You got to pay them, and you have to file annual returns and maintain a record of your tax deductions. All right. So this is the cash flow I teach to people. It's very, very simple. You need to have a business bank account if you don't already have one. You're going to put all your client income into that business account. And then I teach people to use this app called Capital, spelled Qapital, and it can automate your tax savings for you. So it's a phone app, so you download the app, sign up, then you link it to your business bank account. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell it to automatically save a designated percentage of all of your income for taxes so that it's all automated. And then after the tax money's coming out, you can pay yourself the remainder from the account because now your taxes have been taken care of. My dog's freaking out back there. I don't know what she's doing. Who knows? All right. So top tip for you, kind of your homework, make sure that you download this app and get started automating your taxes. These are some percentage figures for you if you don't already know how much you should be saving. So 0 to 10,000, save 5%. And this is based on your household gross income. All right. So in addition to the essentials, you've also got to get the required licenses to have a valid sole proprietorship, which means to look into, at a minimum, these legalities. So you should get an EIN, which is your business's social security number. That's free through the IRS, so don't pay anyone to do this for you. You also need to look into a seller's permit. So if you have sales that are subject to sales tax or resale tax, you want to look into those required licenses through your state and then file your sales tax as necessary. Also look through your city to see if you need to get a business license. So we talked yesterday about the difference between home occupation permits and then home occupation permits. And if you have a business inside your home, you might still need a business license, which is, a lot of people neglect that. And then lastly, your fictitious business license, which people often will call a DBA. And this is what's required when you are operating under a name other than your personal name, if you're a sole proprietor, or different from your LLC name, if you are an LLC. So do you have each of these licenses? You want to do like a quick audit and ask yourself, and if not, you put that on your to-do list for sure. So stage 2, here are some of the struggles from a stage 2 business owner. They'll say, I'm growing, but am I growing in the right direction? Am I working in the niche that I want to work in? Am I doing the kind of events that I want to do? I don't really help with that. May probably does. So May can probably help you with that. And then people will also say, people don't really say this is a term that I made up, but people are definitely feeling it. How do I get off the WTF happened to my money hamster wheel? This is what happens when we let our business expenses increase along with our income. So despite the fact that we're making more money, we can't really feel that in our personal bank account. We're like, I'm making all this money over here in my business, but why don't I feel like things are financially easier for me yet? And then they might also think or feel like they need more layers of protection.
Okay,
so
we have a question that came in. So Sandy was asking, do you need a DBA if you have a LLC? So I'm going to answer this question. So Sandy, no, you do not. A DBA is only used. I'm going to give you one example. Okay, my company, M2 Hospitality is an LLC. I also have events for anyone. So I created a DBA under my LLC of M2 Hospitality for events for anyone. So if you only have one business, you just keep it, you don't need a DBA. You keep it as an LLC. So did I answer that correctly, Braden?
Well, I actually do have one wrinkle to that, May. So what was your wedding planning name again?
My company?
Yes.
My company is called M2 Hospitality.
So if the trick to this is what people mess up all the time and where they make mistakes with DBAs is if your LLC name was May Silver's LLC, but you're operating as it was M2 Hospitality.
No, my LLC is M2 Hospitality.
Yes. Yeah. So if your LLC name were May Silver's LLC, but you were operating as M2 Hospitality, then your operating name is not the same as your LLC name. And then you would need to get a fictitious business license because you're operating under a fictitious name in that example. People do this a lot. So like my LLC name is Braden Drake LLC. So then any operating name I have that's different than that, I would get a DBA for.
Correct. But I'm not. So if you register your company under your name, then you need to, your name LLC, then you need to get a DBA. Correct? If you want to call your company something else.
Right. It's just anytime you're not operating as your actual filed LLC name. So this happens, like a lot of people will rebrand as well. So if you start out as M2 Hospitality and then you decide to change your business name, then you could either file a new LLC or you could just apply for a DBA for your new operating name. So it's required anytime you're not operating under the LLC name that's actually filed on your articles of organization.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
That's some legal talk over there.
Yes. Yeah. So LLCs are really great for everyone. And the purpose of the LLC is that they provide you with liability protection. So when you have an LLC, it helps protect your personal assets from risk and liability if you ever have a legal dispute. The only real issue with an LLC that you have to think about is what's the cost and do I want to spend the money on it? So we talked about in California, they're $800 a year. We're the most expensive state. In some states, they are basically free or they're like $100 a year. If you're in one of those states, I tell people to get an LLC even if you're in stage 1. But if it is very costly for you and you're still just trying to get your feet on the ground, then you could maybe wait until stage 2 to think about this. Also, note that LLCs have nothing to do with your taxes. So once you form an LLC, your income taxes, they do not change. There's no effect. LLCs are just for liability. Once you're in stage 2, it's also to consider like making sure that you have solid contractor agreements if you're using independent contractors. If you form an LLC, you want to have an operating agreement and meeting minutes. And then you have additional LLC compliance tasks as well. So this is just a fun homework assignment for you all to go through. It's very simple. What you're going to do is, especially if you feel like you're in stage 2, you've probably racked up a lot of different business expenses. If you're anything like me, you signed up for trials that you forgot you signed up for, where you had to give them your credit card information and now you're paying for them even though you don't use them. So I want you to spend an hour and go through some of your bank statements and determine if you're paying for anything that you're not actually using, and then cut that out. And then look at everything else and ask yourself, do I need this? Do you have any expenses that are duplicative? Like, for example, I used to use Dubsado when I had my one-on-one law firm business. And once Dubsado introduced a scheduling tool into their program, I canceled my Calendly membership because I don't need to pay for both of those things. if Dipsato can do all of that. So consider that as you're doing this exercise. So stage 3, once you get to stage 3, you might be thinking, all right, my income's pretty consistent now, but how do I start to streamline? And then you might be thinking, I'm paying a lot of taxes. It's time to consider an S Corp. And what we're gonna do is, May, I'm gonna be talking a lot about S Corps on the masterclass that's coming up this coming Tuesday. So May has a link to that. May, will you share that after the presentation?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the masterclass is going to be the biggest legal and tax mistakes I see at each stage of business. So we'll be talking about these stages more, discussing more concepts. It'll be super fun. So make sure you sign up for that. And then also ask yourself, am I properly licensed? Do I have a pulse on all these things? Do I know what they are? Do I know if I need them and if I have them? All right, I'm gonna skip that one. And then that was the last slide. So how I can help you. We're going to have the masterclass on Tuesday. I also have a lot of free resources out there. I have a podcast. We do 2 shows a week. This month, we've been doing 4 shows a week. It's been very busy. And I have a Facebook group, a book, all that kind of fun stuff. So
share with us how we can find you. Where is your Facebook group? What is it called? And also your Instagram handle.
Yeah, so if you go to bradensbesties.com, it's BRADENS, besties.com, that will redirect you to my Facebook group. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Braden Adam Drake. So it's my full name.
Okay. All right. And the masterclass is next Tuesday. You are, give us the time for that.
Yes, so it's, we have one at 9 Pacific Standard Time and one at 12 Pacific Standard Time. So that's 12 Eastern and 3 Eastern.
Fantastic. So members, I will be dropping the link so that you can sign up for the masterclass. You need to register for the masterclass. So I will be working on that today. So then I'll post it inside the Facebook group. I am in Braden's Facebook group. He drops some gems, okay? And again, you can probably tell from his personality, he's not a typical tax person or tax attorney. He's very upbeat. And he explains things in a very simple manner. So join him on his masterclass, on his Facebook group, and also his Instagram. He's really cool. And then for your podcast, where do we find you?
So the podcast I'm going to abbreviate so we don't swear. It's Unf Your Biz. That's UNF''CK Your Biz with Braden. That's the name of the podcast. So if you search that in your podcast app, it should pop right up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, the Facebook group again is called bradensbestie.com.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So Christine actually dropped the link. So once you drop that link, his website link. So you'll be able to go into his Facebook group from his website. So all right, Braden, thank you so much for your time. Get some rest. And I will make sure that I will also come on your masterclass next Tuesday as well. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So again, you heard all those different layers of protection that you need for your business. So this is one part that we as creative event planners don't pay too much attention to. And I have to stress that you really need to get your act together when you are setting up your business, because you could make a lot of money, but if you don't set up your business correctly, legally, and also in terms of the eyes of the IRS, then you end up paying heavy fines and penalties. Okay, this is what we teach inside our paid mentorship program as well. So inside our mentorship program, I create a growth chart, and this growth chart guides you step by step what you need to do to incorporate your business. Now, Braden's masterclass, and he also has a program, go more in depth. But for us, we will at least set you up your foundation. And then, instead, sometimes Google may not be able to answer all your questions. If you need help in knowing how to set up your business, and then where do you go? How do you start? Where do you go from there after you set up your business? And then you still need to get leads. You need to close your leads. You need to be able to know how to plan events, how to price. This is everything that we teach inside our mentorship program. So if you need help and you're watching me on replay, hashtag replay. If you need help, just comment help, HELP, and we will reach out to you. Jump on a quick call with me. Let's see how I can help you. It's only 15 minutes. See how I can help you. And if you have questions about our mentorship program, I will talk about that as well on the call. So hashtag replay if you are watching us on replay. And if you need help in starting and growing your business, especially getting all your legal stuff right, comment help. All right. So I look forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. So have a great Wednesday. See you all next week. Bye, everybody.